Down to item 9, consider approval of proclamation of April 5th as Arbor Day.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
And unanimous.
Item 10, review the rough draft budget of 2019-2020 Marion County Detention Center budget. Barry's brought that.
Appreciate everybody showing up. John, we have a packet for you, 55 pages.
Sounds like some excellent reading material.
I also get one to Senator Higdon as well. Right now, our budget from, you got in your packet there, the budget packet is, you got last year's budget first, and then you got the budget coming in after that. It's actually up 7.7% from last year's budget. And I tell you what, we actually didn't do anything other than cost of living. What we put in the budget for our staff raises. I mean, it's a hard gel operation. We know we appreciate what the court done for us last year, and we're not where we need to be at. We've got counselors and stuff that need to be paid a better wage. But I'm you know, it's holding out kind of one thing that the state will answer to the 14 years of the per diem adjustment, and I kind of showed y'all the effect of that today in the presentation. So I know that Senator Higdon, myself, and Judge Daugherty met with the Secretary about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and we're still waiting on an opportunity to get back to hopefully come with something prior to the 2020 legislation session, and that's really the next time that the budget will actually be open is in 2020, and hopefully at that point the Secretary says that there will be something that actually identifies performance-based projects in county jail operations. And I mean, and I haven't heard those numbers or what they would actually be, but even at that, you're looking at, it's not going to affect the county. If that doesn't happen till then you're looking at July of 2020 before it goes into effect, and would probably be another 6 months to a year before you see anything budgetarily coming back. But you know, it's just like what I said today. Our business, anytime that you're either you're not at the per diem you need to be at, or you lose the opportunity to raise that revenue, this business you don't make up. I mean, when you step back, you stay there and just keep trailing water from there. But anyway, I appreciate everyone coming out today, and if there is some type of a Hail Mary that comes through between now and June when we approve the final budget, I would like to be able to consider that staff raise to be something different than a 1.9 cost of living. But I understand exactly where we're at and line that out. But it's definitely the cost of drugs is not on a federal level only, not on a state level only, and it's in local government, and it's costing us small counties and entities. It's brutal, budgetarily wise. It's brutal on us. So if you have the opportunity to talk to anybody in D.C., as I said earlier, or even at Frankfurt, get those conversations, because this training, it's not going to get any better. Not the way the drugs are happening, and the cost of incarceration and medical soaring on us. Again, best and tightest, I mean, that's the most efficient conservative budget I could put forward to try to get us through. We live on a prayer on that one.
You feeling good about that number?
Oh, I'm not.
I was just kidding.
I'm also, you'll find in that package, I clearly announced two things. That's the staff raises and the unbudgeted liabilities that are facing us.
That's correct.
And that is again with the drug stuff and what was smuggling into the jail. Guys, we may have to come, last year we set a budget and got knocked out by medical and staff retention issues 2 months into the budget. And I wish it would be sure enough that I could say it wouldn't happen again this time. So, song of prayer.
I know I said something to Senator Higdon a while ago before the meeting about our per diem, because like you said, it's been 14 years
Yeah.
without a per diem increase. I don't know of any businesses other than farmers that have gone backwards with a business that can, and it's a business.
Yeah,
They would never be able to stay in business without with the cost of everything going up.
And it's in the brochure, you'll see, it's costing us upper $60 to $70 a day, taxpayers in Kentucky,
Yep.
to run prisons. That's what it costs us.
But I mean, it's a business.
And that's what and I promise you, assure you, the operation that we have in Marion County, this court has been very, very a good partner with the DOC in Frankfurt. We've been innovative. We've been forthright pushing programs. We're holding right now a program that's we developed it ourselves here in Marion County. An evidence-based programming. So we're pushing forward with that effort, and those numbers are still reducing the minimum expiration date of a lot of offenders. And whether that's seen in the immediate budget right then and there, it's removing the liability when you reduce those incarceration or supervision days. When you're removed.
Senator Higdon, by the way, thank you for being here. It's great to see you. And I know the state is in a very tough situation, obviously. I mean, revenue short everywhere we look. Question I've got is that, what do you feel as far as like the incentives for detention centers on the program-based incentive increase? I mean, what's the feel in Frankfurt on that?
Good question. Let me see if I have an answer.
I thought we was gonna get a good answer here.
I first want to commend Barry and his staff, bar none, the best jailer in the state of Kentucky right here. What he does for the inmates here, he gives them a chance when they leave Marion County Detention Center, they have a chance of making it on the outside because they've received instruction and courses while on the inside, not only the ones that the state is paying for, the SAT programs and but the faith-based programs that he does and the other programs that you all allowed him to do. Like I said, inmate leaving here. And I've been there and I've been other places, and Marion County has a reputation among jails as being the place to be. And I get a lot of calls from parents across the state that say, can you get my son or can you get my daughter? You heard of the college scandals getting kids into schools.
They're trying to get in jail.
There's folks out there that want to get their relatives into the Marion County jail.
I guess if they're willing to pay $65 a day or something.
Well, that might be a plan you want to look at. But anyway, Marion County has a great reputation, and we have a lot of jails in the state of Kentucky that are doing 3 hots and a cot. They warehouse prisoners, and those inmates, when they get out, it's going to be a revolving door. They're going to be right back in because they haven't received any kind of instruction or any kind of help while they're on the inside to be successful when they get out. So that's not that.
So to answer my question, I mean,
No,
I'm
you
just.
didn't ask, that's not what you asked. Of course, the increase in per diem is the last time the state saw any kind of increases in these type of things was 2006. I was cleaning out a closet the other day and I found the front page of the Casey News and all the projects and stuff that we were able to get. We got some transportation projects for Marion County in that same era, but we haven't had any additional any stuff in budgets or any line items in budgets since 2006. We just simply haven't had the money with increased cost of Medicaid and pensions and incarceration. Where the state is just strapped for money, but we have been working on some additional money for those jails like Marion County that go that additional step, that add service added We'd like to create 2 different classes of jails in Kentucky. We'd like to have a class of jails that do just warehouse prisoners, that do the 3 hots and a cot, and pay them the very minimum amount. And we'd like to do jails that pay them additional amount of money like Marion County. We've had several meetings with the commissioner to work on that, and we're hoping to see that those discussions will pay dividends in the foreseeable future, but
The concern I see,
there's no guarantee.
the concern I see from this standpoint is that, and obviously, Barry's done a tremendous job, his staff is second to none. And the court over the years has always invested in the detention center and trying to do the right thing, okay? The concern I see when I travel across the state is that, that sounds great, and obviously we're all buying, okay? I know you're buying on it. But then when I go to some of these other counties that have the 3, hots and a cot, well, I tell you what, there's a lot of pushback. So I don't see, outside looking in, and you help me, and I think if it's factual, but I don't see, from what I see out in the state, Marion County is a jewel, okay, realistically. What I see out in the state when I travel to other courts, I was in a county today in that same situation. They're not big fans of this, and their representatives and their senators aren't big fans of that, because they're listening to their people. They want, if you're going to increase Marion counties, we want ours increased too. So do you see that pushback as well?
Well, you can ask Barry every time we introduce it. The Jailers Association has traditionally been opposed. Now, they've been a little more supportive lately, but they have not been supportive.
I don't think a lot of them understand
Yeah.
the business of the jail. I mean,
I don't think they understand their actual cost even.
Yeah, I mean,
the way they do their
yeah.
contracts. But I did talk to Renee Craddock, and of course, that one thing going into 2020 is that the association is buying off. We don't have as many naysayers as we used to about doing performance-based. But, that's what I'm hoping that, of course, Senator and the judge and I went over, is that Secretary Tilley can see it, because we've got plans for additional adjustments to the current programs, which doesn't do physical plant, but it does more for the individual. And I'm telling you, I can, as I told in that testimony last year when we was up there at Frankfurt to the Joint Commission, I would be willing to go under a pilot program and a study, and with the comparison with the inmates and what's going on with what we're offering. The one thing that we have that's done typically in some of the program areas for state prison stuff, this is what I said today. One thing would be the access to a walking track, a low impact move, and for $20,000-$25,000, I could put that in place at our facility, and assure you I could match the per se what's going on with some of the other prisons, and specifically I would accept that type of a study or challenge for us.
Well, I will say this, and I think Senator Higdon hit a key point. When I'm going around these other facilities, these other counties and so forth, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, until the jail association gets on board, because it's just like CACO with the Kentucky Association of Counties, we support.
Yeah.
But until the jail association gets on board and pushes it, it's going to be very tough for Senator Higdon or for anyone that's in favor of that to get that through.
Yeah.
Take all of us. I mean, it's going to take.
Well, and they're looking at it now. CACO's with it, but there's a lot of them saying, well, the jail association's not pushing it, so.
We're funding the jail, so I mean, it's got to have to come from us, and it's.
And if you look at the paper again, too, I give a little kind of financial history on from 2002, I think. We're very blessed with our operation, and it's been very good for our county. And under state law, the county is required to run that operation. And then under state law, Class D felons are required to be housed in the jails. So if any, I mean, the other thing, reason we push forward too, is that's an unserved population that is growing tremendously.
Big time.
You talk about your repeat offenders, but we've got 12,000 individuals locked in jails, and we're under 5,000 program beds that have any kind of regulations or something. So, you know, it's kind of hard to get out of that whale, and it
Keeps going up.
Rocks in so I can climb up. But hopefully Tilly will, maybe there's a possibility we could try to work on their current programs and add some stuff to it.
Well, I think the pilot program that you came up with, I think that's an excellent idea, and I hope Senator Higdon takes that back and we can get something done with it.
It's already there. We've been lobbying for quite some time with it.
Let's close.
With, Secretary Tilly. And I will tell you this, in Frankfurt, the State Senate, about every day we get a history lesson from Julian Carroll. I'll give you a little history lesson. I'll take all soon.
He can give them.
He can. He's like Farmers Insurance. He's been around for a while. He knows a thing or two, seen a thing or two. And you remember the late 90s when that Kentucky did start housing prisoners in county jails. And it was an opportunity for counties to get state prisoners and offset the cost of incarcerating their own prisoners. And, you know, the county is responsible for housing the Marion County prisoners that are there. But the state, hopefully, the way it was originally set up, that you could offset your cost by billing the state. It worked well for a while, but that model is starting to break down. And for years, there was only like 5 counties in the state that were operated in the black, Marion County being one of them. So that's starting to erode, and I don't know if there's any jails that are still operating in the black. I think Casey County still is, but primarily because of all the food and stuff they grow during the summer, their food costs are way down. But anyway, that model has changed, and we need to make some changes to try to supplement and help them. And we know that.
We appreciate your help.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
One last thing on the last part of that budget, there is some action that you need to take, and I don't know how expensive it is. The last page is about fees. Work release fees are at $10. We'd like to, this year, to have a board up them to 15. The booking process fee is 20. We want to up that to 30. And if you look at the graph on the pages, we're in line with all the other counties around, including we're behind, because Taylor County already has those same fees, and they're under the same judges. So
You're wanting that approved at the beginning of our new fiscal year, or is that something you're looking to move forward with now?
we can move forward, we can give a notice to the courts. I mean, if you can make it effective May 1st and give them time to make that adjustment.
Motion to increase the fees per the request of the jailer
Second.
to begin on May 1st.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Thank you, Barry.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator.
Item number 11, consider approval of 2 volunteer litter abatement cleanup groups, 10 miles each at $100 per mile. The groups are middle school softball and Marion County Madness travel team.
Motion.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Mr. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Unanimous.
The next item is department reports. Jimmy?
Need to ask y'all to buy 6 dumpsters. Got business with one son right now, and I ain't got none. 6 dumpsters is $6,061.
Is that it?
No.
Said that.
Need a motion on that.
Separate from the rest of it.
How about we just get everything and then go from there?
All right. We talked about a new backhoe last week, and I went and got some bids on some, and John Deere's come in with the lowest bidder.
What exact, and I apologize, I was out of state last meeting, but what is that backhoe for?
The road department. The
Okay.
one that we got is the 2000.
That's your primary backhoe?
One of them.
We got,
Yeah.
got
Rear
two.
end went out of it, almost $10,000 rear end.
Gotcha. And what was
But,
John?
We've been working with John Deere, and if to order this John Deere, it's gonna be 60 to 75 days to deliver. And I can give them $40,000 in this budget, and after July, pay the remaining balance after July.
What is the total? I'm sorry.
The total, you got it right there,
Well, I know, but
after,
we'll just let everybody find out.
1,500.
98.5.
That's with the trade-in of that JCB.
that's with the trade-in, but we've got a store credit of $9,000, so, you know, that's gonna pay for the rear end for the whole one.
Along with that, with the purchase of this, so.
So, part of, the first part would come out of this year's budget. And then,
Gonna eat up next year's budget too. Yeah.
pretty much. You're,
Like I said, with the progress you're making and the work we're completing, I mean, we've got to keep newer equipment. It's a lot less repair and maintenance. And what's the warranty on this?
It's in there too. The warranty is, 5 years for $2,000.
Jackie, what's, or Mr. Fogel, what's your, you operate them every day and so forth? I mean, do you have any preference from your standpoint of John Deere, Wayne, whatever?
Well, it's like Jimmy, he likes a John Deere, they work for him, stay with what works.
What about from a service standpoint, everything good there?
That's fine, there, you won't have no problem. I mean, they just, when it comes to service, it's no better than the man that stands behind it anyway.
That's state contract pricing, I take it? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this, so obviously we know, and I'm just asking, obviously we know that at 95,000 plus the store credit and so forth, we know that that contract pricing is solid. I mean, we can purchase that price any portion time of the year. What you're basically saying is that as opposed to doing a bid, what you'd like to do is just buy the John Deere, because if we could take this out to bid to see if we can save any funds. You see what I'm saying?
the bids wouldn't.
He got bids right there.
Well, but that's different than, what he has there are bids, but those are state bids.
State contract.
There's a difference, yeah, that's my point, is if you're gonna spend $100,000, okay? If you're gonna spend $100,000, you can buy it off state contract, and that's fine, and if that's what you want, and that's what the court approves, that's great. My only question is that something that we need to bid, when you're talking about $100,000?
Other John Deere dealers, you mean?
Well, that's where the catch is. That's where the catch is, because that's my point. If you're saying I don't want anything but a John Deere, then obviously there's no sense in bidding, because you're making it clear you want a John Deere. The other side of that is, though, is that if you do an open bid, that doesn't mean that John Deere won't come in a little tighter, knowing that there's other brands that might come in as well. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, it's going to take,
That's true, but I think that the price they came in at is good.
On the page.
I mean,
You can see the numbers.
And it's not the same machine as well. I mean, it's,
well, on a bid, of course, on a bid, you spec what you want
Yeah.
from a horsepower, from a bucket size, from hydraulics, so forth, so. Yeah, but I'm just throwing it out there, it's all I'm doing. You know,
but
I
knowing,
agree, you need a backhoe. I don't think there's any doubt. Obviously, we have to have one. That one's served us well. It's like Master Bishop said, you get a lot of work done. Only question I have is that something that, at $100,000, is that something that, do you put it on bid? Can you save $5,000? Can you save 10? I don't know.
If we don't do this, we liable to lose the store credit.
lose the store credit.
We were actually higher at the last bid. They actually come in cheaper and gave us the store credit than what we looked at the last meeting.
I mean,
That's y'all, what y'all.
I mean, I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just
I
asking.
mean, you know, just knowing equipment and knowing the price they're giving, and I know that me walk out on the street, I can't even come close to buying one for this amount of money.
Oh, no, state contract, yeah, usually state contract is and the good thing about state contract
You don't have to bid.
is that you do get the purchasing power of the state, number one. Number two is that you can select a vendor that you know provides good quality service and maintenance. Today, we're worried about the price. After we get it out there, it's all about the service. So So I understand. I'm just asking the question, so make sure we do what we want.
Old one.
8,000.
That tells you what to stand for right there. You know what I'm saying?
We
Yes, sir.
use them.
I mean, and I know that the line equipment has been good equipment for years, you know. I don't prefer John Deere because it's just different operating standards, you know. Well, as far as how well they hold up, you won't get that to hold up no better.
And Meade is who we went through, and they own how many of the dealerships now?
They own them all.
They own
That's
them
what
all.
I'm saying.
It's,
They own them
you
all.
ever heard of monopoly?
Yeah, it's kind of like Case. I mean, Wilson Equipment owns almost everything around anymore. So,
You know,
it's-
I own some green equipment too, and they always have a good price on that repair too. I would say that they're proud of that green, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, if that's what you guys want to do, and someone wants to make a motion to approve that, you know, I'm just bringing up discussion.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Motion for it.
If you want to, go ahead now.
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Caldwell?
Yes.
Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Cox Interior, they've been out to the transfer station and grinded all that. It's, most time we do it once a year. It's a little over 15 months this year. Most of the time it's 25 to 28 loads. This time it's 51 loads. Wow.
Thank God they got out
More
there.
brush coming in out there, you know, it's a bigger thing. I think we budgeted $6,500 for this, and it's $76.50.
Well worth it.
15 months, you know.
Well worth it.
Yeah, it'd be all over our roads if we didn't have it, so.
So what happened to the trailer? Was it,
They put too much on it.
I mean, was it y'all's?
No.
Cox
No,
Interior?
it's Cox Interior. All Cox Interior.
So we're not responsible for the trailer, okay.
Well,
It looks sick.
it's a tremendous service that, to be able to take your limbs and so forth out there. I mean, it's a tremendous service.
There are several jobs here listed.
You need
Showing what we're
before you
gonna
get to those jobs, you need a motion on this brush grinding that,
do.
it's on the bill.
Yeah, I just want to tell y'all.
What about back up here on this
Dumpsters.
On the
It
dumpster.
wasn't included in with the John Deere, so you need to,
No, I think that 95,000 choked us all up, so we didn't quite get that in there.
but you got people needing dumpsters.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve the 6 new dumpsters at $6,061.
Makes them dumpsters sound cheap.
Caldwell? Mr. Bishop?
Yes.
Mr. Vogel?
Yes.
Mr. Kirkland?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
We do get reimbursed for those dumpsters, I would
Yeah,
like
that's
to
right.
tip, but we just don't buy them and put them out. People do pay for them, so
It's a great thing they are using them.
What is the rental on one?
The what is?
it's the usage
Pick
of
up
it.
on one,
We
the
charge
usage
you.
of it?
Buy your dumpster.
You selling the dumpsters out,
And so much a pickup or
So
something.
much a cubic,
So much cubic yard.
yeah.
so you're taking these, 6 dumpsters out, then these companies are gonna pay you right back.
Yeah, they pay for
That's
them.
fine.
Yeah.
We don't make no money off of it.
Yeah,
And there's a bunch of jobs here I put down just for y'all to see what we're doing. We gotta get some permits on a lot of them. Just like y'all was talking about resurfacing these roads, I gotta put new tiles in these roads that we're gonna resurface. When y'all get time, we need to get together, there's a sheet that I got on the back there, it's got several roads that I've looked at. I know we ain't gonna be able to do them all, but we can get together and try to do what we do. That way I can start preparing the roads. That's about it.
Creek Loop, is that the one you said maybe a state or
Try to
maybe?
get some money on it.
We're gonna send it for discretionary, hopefully we'll.
There's 4 roads there.
Beach Fork Loop, would that be one of them? You trying to get some funding on that one too?
It is. While Jimmy's here, we'll just put a bug in his ear there.
Get your checkbook out, Jim.
State road to state road. They're not
And
dead
it's-
roads.
Roads we kind of inherited from progress.
Exactly.
Progress, there you go. Good way of putting it, there you go.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Barry, you got anything else?
Got the monthly report, another 10 pages, I'm about to get an extra thing on paper. But, the extra right here on paper. Anyway, one thing on the monthly report, I always put it on there, Kenny puts it in there about the drug charges, methamphetamine pills. is a leader in our community. I know at the net presentation today, if you look in 2013, there was 5, and then we are 100 and 144 last year. So that's, again, just label on the drugs.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You know, anymore, drugs are like cancer. I mean, it touches everybody.
It
It's
does.
unbelievable. That's sad.
I might
Thank you, Barry.
relate to them about that. I didn't realize, I was out to Walmart, and these people kept wiping off the carts, and I thought they were doing kind of flu and colds, but there's more to it. You was talking about the fentanyl.
Drugs, yes, some
That you just
fentanyl.
touch them.
You have to use universal precautions because you can be absorbed through your skin. They've had police officers overdose on drug seized, when they seized the pills.
I thought it was just flu, which that's part of it too,
Everything.
but
Probably good.
I didn't know that till you guys was talking about that. You could pick it up just off a grocery cart or something.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry.